In this example, we'll be building a parallel or rail system for a hydraulic cylinder. So we'll go ahead and select our hydraulic cylinder, 2H. We're going to go ahead and use a 2-inch with a 1-inch rod. Say OK. How much stroke? This cylinder we're going to say needs 5 inches of stroke. No rod extension. How much of the stroke is shown? I want all 5 inches shown so that when stroke is fully out it's at home position. Head orientation, 0, just we'll go standard type flange and rod end, and the standard clearances. Now for this one I'm going to go ahead and say I want to use the rod end as my location. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the face. I want to align it. Now I can stop here and just modify these dimensions, or I can select this side to this side because I want it on center, and I want it off the bottom of the slide, and I want it 1 inch up from the bottom. Orientation, I really want these ports down, so I'm going to say minus 90 degrees so the ports are down. I'm going to go ahead and hit stop. I am not going to modify anything yet. I'm going to do that after I build my rail system. Go ahead and hit stop and escape. So my cylinder is in place. Now to build the rail system so that it's parametric and adjusts with your cylinder, I'm going to go ahead and create a UCS based off a face and a point. So I'm going to base it off this face, and I'm going to base it off this center point right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and rotate this 90 degrees so it's flat to the way I want to look at it. I'm going to go ahead and activate that. I'm going to go ahead and hide the slide in that for now. And now I'm going to just look right down my Z-axis. I'm going to go ahead and what I'm going to do to create my three different blocks is I'm going to use some frames. So I'm going to do a frame, X center, I'm going to say 6 inches, Y center 4, and I'm going to go ahead and just place it here. Now to make sure that it's on the location I want it and I can move it around easy enough later, I'm going to go ahead and dimension that point. Then I'm going to set this to 0 so that it's right on the center line of my cylinder. And now I'm going to go ahead and create the first block. So I'm going to go ahead and go extrude, and I'm going to extrude this out, we'll say 1.5 inches, so that that's my first mounting block. Now I'm going to go ahead and create 2 frames on both ends of this to create the actual rails. So I'm going to go back, go into frame, go diagonal, select a corner, and then to do the other side I'm going to do an offset point. So I'm going to go do an offset point. The origin is here in this direction. Say OK, distance 1.5 inches, place it. Do the other frame on the other corner here. Go ahead and do an offset dimension from a point. Go from here, go in this direction. Say OK, distance. I'm going to click this 1.5 on the other side, so these will be related all the time. So that creates my other frame. I'm going to go ahead and unhide my die set and my slide. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude these rails out, but instead of height I'm going to change the mode 2 and select this plane. Do the same on the other side, change it to 2, select this plane. So now these rails will always go between here and here all the time. So now I've got my rail system in. Now I'm going to go ahead and say assembly, use process of the cylinder. Now I'm going to modify this block, and I'm going to modify the slide end so it puts in the drill tap size and puts my clearances through this block. I'm going to go ahead and make these more transparent so we can see through them easy enough. Now if for some reason they come back and they say no, we need more stroke than that, I can say stroke, I can change this to, let's say, a 7-inch stroke. Okay, but this didn't change because I didn't change how much of this was out. So now I'm going to go ahead and say how much stroke shown. I want it to a full stroke, 7 inches. And the model updates. The rails get longer automatically with the cylinder. So that's an advantage of building it that way. If for some reason I want to change drivers, if I want to change this rail width to 1.750, if you notice both sides changed at the same time because I have the two sides related to each other. The other advantage is if, let's say, the customer comes in, we have a 2-inch bore with a 1-inch rod, and let's say, no, I need a 2.5 with a 1-inch rod. Well, those cylinders are a little longer automatically, so if I do that, it gets bigger, and any rail height change will change automatically in the rails for you. So you can just change your cylinder size here. Now, if for some reason this cylinder got too big, you need to move these rails out, easy enough to fix. I just show the driving parameters of the block. Parameters, instead of 6, let's say we make it 8, and the rails all shift out automatically for you so that you can mount that in easily. Now let's say they didn't like your flange style on this one. They don't like this rectangular flange, they want the head flange style instead. All you have to do is hit modify parameter and then go in and say flange type, change it to 3, and it updates. Now because it is a different face for the flat, you do lose the it breaks associativity with this coordinate system, but we can fix that through the history easy enough. If I hit edit, here's the reference face is missing. I just right click, say reconnect to this new face, and it reconnects it up, heals it, and extends the rails and everything out properly. This is how I would recommend doing a rail system for a slide cylinder.